Hello, and welcome to another Liftinstituut expert session. In this series of short video discussions, experts from around the world share their knowledge, experience, and views on a variety of subjects in the vertical transportation industry. Today we're talking with Tijmen Molema about cybersecurity as it relates to lifts, which is a really interesting topic. Tijmen, thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having me here.
Yeah, now I will read this off the paper. Your title is the Functional Safety and Cybersecurity Certification Specialist.
Yeah, it's quite a mouthful.
Tell us what that role is, what you do at Liftinstituut.
So I mainly help customers, big lift companies, by designing, testing, verifying big systems which involve software, hardware, electronics.
Okay.
So as soon as software and electronics makes decisions about safety, is it safe or not, then they mainly call me.
Yeah.
And the last years we see these kind of systems are interacting with each other.
Yeah.
And that's when cybersecurity pops up.
Yeah, interesting. And so your goal is, of course, to make sure the lift gets where it's supposed to go and so on. Like, what makes a happy customer when you're working with them? Just reviewing those standards and making sure it meets a certain minimum level of performance?
Yeah, of course, but I think that's the minimal thing we do.
Yeah.
I prefer to create systems with the customer which are better than they expected.
Okay.
And most of the time, safety and reliability are quite close to each other, so they can help each other out.
Great.
And by creating together something or explaining the standard better, you can give inspiration to people to make better and more beautiful systems.
Great. Cybersecurity. What is it as a general concept? And then maybe we'll get into how it relates specifically to the lift industry.
The world of cyber started at the moment that computers started interacting with each other. So the cyber world is basically more or less computers talking with each other. And as we are now talking with each other, we fully understand each other. But you can make some strange things and we don't understand each other anymore. And I can get advantage out of that. And that's basically also what you can do with computers. And that's where cybersecurity comes in.
The security part, yeah. Interesting. And go into like, what are we looking at as that relates to lifts? What is there right now, and then what might be coming in the future?
So you see that maintenance parties are more and more looking at costs, and it makes sense. Yeah. So the first thing they're doing now is looking at the usage of a lift. See it's getting used 10,000 times a year, and they measure it, they send it back to their office, and with that data, they make their maintenance plan. But to get the data, you need some connection to the outside world.
Of course, yeah.
And with that outside world connection, basically you step into the world of cybersecurity.
Right.
And every component has its own wear and tear, and you want to monitor it. So more and more data is sent to the companies.
Sure.
And
then the software being used is not necessarily as robust as like a Windows or a Mac operating system. Is that right? Like there might be more potential for vulnerabilities from a security perspective?
Well, more or less is always hard to quantify, of course, because you do not know all the details yet. But yeah, it's quite a new world, and for the lift industry, it's coming up the last 10 to 5 years, I think, slowly. So there's a lot of opportunities, but also challenges, of course.
Yeah. So it seems maybe not weird to you, but weird to me that we're talking about elevators being hacked. You know, like that's something that a normal lift user wouldn't think about. What risks are we talking about if a lift were hacked?
So first of all, most of the people think about falling down in a lift with a big crash. And actually, for me, that's not the biggest risk, or I don't see that as the main threat. I really am more scared about hijacking buildings. Because when I hijack, for example, a whole hospital, then I can ask for money so that I will release the elevators again. And then you see there's some potential win and loss for hackers. And as soon as there's money to be made, there will be people involved.
And if you are able to hack into a system, then I guess you might be able to access the rest of the company. That's also a risk, is that right?
Yeah, that's where the scary part really begins, because you see nowadays the lift is also connected to the building management system, the BMS, but also to the fire system. And when you're in the building management system, you can do the most strange and horrible things, like shutting down power or fire alarms, etc.
Oh, wow. So, even if you're not directly causing harm to people, you could cause just chaos, mayhem in your business.
It can be a stepping stone.
Right, yeah. Wow, what an interesting thing. I want to understand like what the risks are and so on, but I know what you do in your job is certification, like cybersecurity certification. So what does that consist of?
Okay, so let's look first at functional safety certification.
Great.
There you certify against dangers because you know failure chance of components, you know that humans make errors, so okay, we have a quality system, etc. And the thing about functional safety is that the threat is known. And now we are looking at cybersecurity, and the threat is evolving every day. And that's also the interesting world, because the threat is unknown, it's evolving, it's getting better every day. So this cybersecurity certification is not about being very good at that moment, but it's giving you the tools to be good over a longer period of time.
Yeah, interesting. Like you need to evolve. It's just an arms race, as we say, you know, where the black hats and the white hats are against each other to make it more secure and to find a new vulnerability, and it can go back and forth. So how, you know, what an interesting concept. And if I'm a building owner, am I required to have a certification for cybersecurity?
Well, currently, cybersecurity and certification is not mandatory.
Okay.
But that's at the moment we are here right now. You see that in the European Union, there is a lot of new things going on. So there's a new machine regulation coming up. And in this machine regulation, cybersecurity is mentioned already. You see that the network information system is coming up as well in 2024. And all kind of local and European rule sets are more and more pushing to the mandatory certification part. Okay,
so if not now, then perhaps soon this will be a key point. But even right now, it's a very good idea, because those are some interesting and some scary possibilities that you listed.
Of course, and of course, as a building owner, you are responsible in the end for the building and for the safety. So you want to be sure that everything works well.
Yeah. Now, building owners might say, just a devil's advocate, they might say that the purpose of the connected equipment in my elevator is just to monitor, just to know what floor it's on or how many times it's been used, you know, so there's no sending of data, and so therefore the risk would be low. Is that not right?
That's not particularly right, and this is the thing we hear quite a lot, actually. But you have to remember that monitoring is also a two-way communication. You're sending me data, and I state to you, I received your data.
Got it.
And because we already have the two-way communication, you introduce a risk.
Sure.
And the thing which varies between only listening to data, like monitoring functions, or the whole over-the-air updates, there's a different risk. But the risk is there anyhow.
So even if the signal sent back to the elevator is something like, I got your report, as simple as that, the elevator needs to be designed so you can't send some more malicious code by that exact same means. So yeah, fascinating. What's the starting point? How do you start becoming cyber secure with your Lift installations?
It's a very big question.
Yeah.
The main thing is training. Cybersecurity is 90% about people. Because the threat is evolving, you have to know which threats are here currently, but your people must be able to also do the next step, which threats will come up. And it's a lot of documentation. It's about processes, making sure if something happens, we are there. If something is about to happen, we see it happen. So it's all about training, and it's all about people.
Interesting. And then I guess the next thing to pursue would be to work with Liftinstituut on this cybersecurity certification.
Of course.
You're getting, even if it's not yet required, you're getting ahead of that curve, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. And as soon as you have your certificate, you're basically there as a start for a cybersecure system. And we think that you're up to the challenge to be secure for a longer time.
Yeah, exactly. And we've seen how long elevators tend to operate, for years or decades.
Exactly.
And so it's important to have a firm foundation from this.
Exactly.
Great. Well, Tijmen, thank you for taking a few moments to speak with us. And thank you for watching at home at this Liftinstituut expert session. You can find more editions of our expert sessions on the Liftinstituut YouTube channel. So just search for Liftinstituut and click subscribe. And did you know that this is also available in podcast form? You can go to your favorite podcasting app and search for Liftinstituut there. If you have an interesting topic in mind for a future Liftinstituut expert session, then let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.